Okay, so the next kind of review topic is domain and range. So domain is all the x values that the function uses. So this is like a small side note about who I am. I have the hardest time remembering which one is domain and which one is range. It's like it's like a problem for me. So I do have a trick that I use, but it might not work for you. So I think of domain as like a king's domain, and that's like all the land, the flat part. So that's like all the x values, and then the range. To think about the range, I think of a cannonball shooting straight up. So I think of it as a height sort of thing. So I do say that, but then real life, like real advice is put domain and range on your note card for the test. Like domain is the x values, range is the y values. Because, why not just have that written down so you don't get them mixed up? But either way, domain is the x values and range is the y values. We will do an example or two because it's actually kind of tough. What is the domain of f of x? We're still working on the same function up here. And I do have a trick that I use for the domain. So domain is all the x values. So we've got the x-axis here. And I've kind of already done this, but I'm going to assume that the function just keeps going like that. So I imagine that someone is shining a bright, shiny light on my function. And then I think about, okay, if I shined this bright, shiny light, and then I put like a number line down here, this function that I've got, the function that I've given f of x, it would cause there to be shade all underneath of here that would cover the entire number line all the way forever. So that tells me that every single x value it gets used. So since every single x value gets used, that means that the domain is negative infinity to infinity. Every single x value happens. So my example isn't all that great for the domain, it's a little better for the range. So to do the range, instead of having my flashlights facing like down, my flashlights will face left and right. So I've got flashlights, just lots and lots of flashlights. These ones are horizontal this time. So if you imagine like my flashlight, it would shine on this curve here, and it would cause a shadow all over the y-axis like that. And since my graph goes down, there's still going to be shadow all the way down here. And this line goes on forever, so the shadow is going to go all the way to negative infinity, but it won't go above 6.2 because there's nothing to cause a shadow. So the range is negative infinity to 6.2. Okay. So range is kind of a tough thing, so feel free to ask questions on the discussion board. And also if you need more help with that, I'm sure I can find some YouTube videos that might help you with that. Yeah, let me know.